It takes a lot to unite F1 drivers behind a cause, but trying to remove one of their favourite tracks from the calendar appears to be a good way to do it. Talk of the Belgian Grand Prix not making the cut for the 2023 season has been intensifying, and time is running out for it to prove it has a place. The track has undergone significant renovations and is planning to host a Grand Prix unlike anything the track has ever seen before. Will it be enough to save it though? And just how badly do the drivers want it to stay? The operators of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium have spent almost $25 million making changes to the track in preparation for the 2022 season. Due to the historic nature of the track, safety has always been an issue. Just last year, Lando Norris had a huge crash in the wet during qualifying at the Eau Rouge and Raidillon section of the track. It was the death of F2 driver Antoine Hubert in 2019 that was the main driving force behind the changes. He crashed at the same corner that Lando Norris did in 2021, but in a far more serious multi-car accident. The changes to the track are intended to retain the character of one of Formula One's most cherished and demanding circuits, while improving safety standards for car and bike races. Chairman of the board, Melchior Wathelet, said the construction work which took place over the winter has produced a track which remains identical but with safety strengthened. Our track has been subject to various adaptations in order to receive the double approval from the FIA for motorsport competitions and Grade C from the FIM for motorcycle competitions, he added. There is also a huge new grandstand at the top of Raidillon, which will prove an incredible view for 4,600 lucky spectators. The work done is amazing, and obviously the investment is huge. Despite this though, the Belgian Grand Prix is yet to be announced for 2023, which means the work may have been in vain. F1 is braced to welcome new races next year, with Las Vegas already confirmed and a South African GP believed to be in the pipeline, while the Chinese and Qatar GPs are also set to return next year. There is a 24 race limit for the 2023 season, and as there are already 22 rounds this year, that has left races such as the Belgian GP in doubt, with no contract yet in place. It would be a big shame to lose Spa, said world champion Max Verstappen, who enjoys a home crowd reception due to its proximity to the Netherlands. It's my favourite track in the world. I think it's just an amazing track in a Formula 1 car. Home crowds have proved to be a bit of a problem in recent Grand Prix though. At Silverstone, Max Verstappen was booed every time he was mentioned or seen around the grid. Then in Austria, fans cheered Lewis Hamilton's qualifying crash before it was clear whether he was alright or not. Things got far worse in Austria on the Sunday though, and the stories of abusive fans in some grandstands were disgusting to hear. That is an issue for another video, but with the Belgian Grand Prix's fate hanging in the balance, they are doing everything they can to make the weekend a welcoming experience for everyone. "You are the key to a successful Grand Prix," a statement on social media began. "Just follow the rules on site and have fun doing it." The post included a list of rules for the Grand Prix weekend, which included have respect for everyone and don't bring glass, alcohol, smoke, drones, weapons. If the Belgian Grand Prix can create an atmosphere of inclusivity where fans around the globe are welcome, then surely it's deserving of its space over races that can't provide a safe space for all F1 fans to enjoy the race. Max Verstappen isn't calling for the track to stay because of the home fans though. It is because he, like many others on the grid, love racing there. When Lando Norris, who has Belgian heritage on his mother's side, was asked at the French Grand Prix if he would prefer to keep the Belgian or French round at Paul Ricard on the 2023 calendar, it was an easy call for the McLaren driver. "Spa, easy," he said. "My mum's from Belgium, so I'm 50% Flemish. It's as much a home race for me as it is in Silverstone in a way. I personally have a lot more connections to it, of course, and I love the track and so on. I grew up a lot of the time, or I grew up for many years going to Belgium and spending a lot of time there with my family." At the Hungarian Grand Prix, AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly expressed hope the race's absence from the calendar would prove temporary. Like we said before, there is still a space for it to be announced for 2023. "I don't personally think this has anything to relate with the changes or to improve safety," he said of the reason behind its potential F1 exit. "But I can't believe Spa is going to be out of the calendar for years. It definitely deserves its place on the calendar. Personally, it's probably my favourite track. It's just an amazing track to race on, an amazing track to drive on. We'll see what happens, but I believe it's going to stay, and we're going to still go there for quite a few more years." For many people, it isn't just the incredible racing that Spa produces that means it has to stay on the calendar. It is the scenery as well. The track is so unique in the way it undulates its way through the forest. You shouldn't be surprised to hear it called the most beautiful track in the world by many of its admirers. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali has faced backlash over his treatment of Spa, with the venue pulling out all the stops to make it an incredible spectacle, worthy of a spot on the calendar. "I'm not selling the soul of Formula 1, he said. "That is the normal change. We're opening up to the whole world. Money is important everywhere, for us too, but we don't just look at it, the whole package has to be right. If we only looked at the bank account, the racing calendar would definitely look different." I don't know about you, but we would love to sit down with Stefano and ask what some of the most recent additions to the F1 calendar offer that Spa doesn't. It isn't Belgium's fault it doesn't have a recent history of human rights abuse, something which is apparently now on the checklist for Formula 1 race venues. While they might not be banning homosexuals from attending the Grand Prix, the organisers of the Belgian Grand Prix have taken inspiration from some other recent additions to the F1 calendar. After talks with F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali, the organisers are going all out to try and convince Liberty Media that Spa deserves to stay. "It's true that there has been a request from F1 to bring more entertainment," says commercial director Stijn de Boyver. "They said history is great, but we need more. We decided to listen and follow their new way of delivering F1 events. The American way, with all the entertainment that goes with it. There will apparently be DJs playing at the event, and there will be some exclusive events at newly created fan zones as well. To quote Stan, our luxury Grand Prix will also get the necessary bling, whatever that may mean." Reportedly, Liberty Media have been impressed with the changes undertaken by the organisers, with the track having an increased chance of featuring in 2023. Spa has been in the position it's in before, with the threat of not being on next year's calendar, with the organisers labelling it as not a big issue. "F1 has been very pleased with our plans," says De Boyver. "They are happy we are continuing to invest in a better fan experience, despite race day being sold out since December." He finished out his interview by taking the opportunity to poke fun at Formula 1's insistence on adding more Middle Eastern venues to the calendar every year, thanks to the huge fees that Liberty Media can charge the oil-rich countries. "Yes, we have something to prove. We don't have petrodollars, but we can show that we are a legendary Grand Prix that can entertain 100,000 fans per day. It's a big plus that they'll be able to experience it firsthand in August." At the moment, the Belgian Grand Prix is thought to be competing against the South African and Chinese race. If Formula 1's plan was to make the contest more global, then you could understand the addition of either of those races over the Belgian Grand Prix. But is Liberty Media really trying to make the sport more global? Or are they just trying to make their bank accounts bigger? Perhaps one of the 3 countries hosting races that offer the death penalty to members of the LGBTQ+ community would be better removed. Let us know what you think of the potential loss of the Belgian Grand Prix, and what race should be dropped from the current 2023 lineup to ensure there is a place for Spa next year. Whatever your opinion, let us know down below in the comments, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.